Hello, my friends. This is Deepak, and I'm continuing our deeper understanding of Metahuman. And in my last presentation to you, I was quoting John Wheeler, who said, "The boundary of a boundary is not a boundary; is boundaryless." Another way of saying that the boundary of a boundary is boundless. Boundless means has no boundaries. So right now, of course, we are seeing boundaries. You're seeing those paintings that are defined by boundaries. You're seeing my image, which is defined by boundaries as well. And so what are these boundaries? Made of actual boundaries are actually the modifications of the boundless as sensations, images, perceptions, and thoughts, anything that appears on the screen of consciousness, even ephemeral forms, even thoughts, even images, but also that which we call the physical world and the physical body. These are only modifications of the boundless as it experiences itself within boundaries as both subject and object. So in every act of seeing, the seer and scenery are simultaneously born. In every act of hearing, the hearer and that which is heard are simultaneously born. Subject, object, provisionally are born with every activity of perceptual activity or seeing, which is the modification of the boundless appearing as the bounded. So with this, what do we actually see when you're seeing those paintings? You're seeing me, you're seeing yourself, you're actually observing a thought or an image in consciousness. What actually are you experiencing? You're experiencing what we call qualities of experience, qualia. So as we move from quantum mechanics to qualia mechanics, here are some foundational principles, qualia principles. They're here in the book, You Are the Universe. Science is materialistic, accepting as a given that the physical universe exists as it presents itself. But quantum mechanics long ago undermined the very notion of physical objects at its foundation. So at its foundation, the universe isn't solid, tangible, or fixed. Therefore, the old science of an external physical universe has been mortally wounded by the new science of quantum physics. This ambiguity leaves open the door or opens the door for an entirely new interpretation of nature, qualia science. If physicality is radically compromised, what can be taken as a reliable foundation for future science? The one constant that is rejected by materialists, consciousness. Consciousness makes all experience possible. Attempts to exclude it from objective experiments cannot elude the fact that even to do experiments, we have to use consciousness. All experiences in consciousness, including the experience of doing science. Qualia science begins with the assertion that consciousness is not a trait that evolved from a material basis until it finally emerged in human beings. Consciousness is fundamental and without cause. It is the ground state of existence. As conscious beings, humans cannot experience, measure, or conceive of a reality devoid of consciousness. Consciousness is the ground state of normal reality, behaves like a field, and in all respects like quantum fields for matter and energy. As in any field, consciousness interacts with itself. The interaction proliferates into every specific form of consciousness, such as our own. Consciousness did not arise as a secondary property of atoms and molecules, which were actually human constructs for experiences in consciousness. But it must be understood that there is a deeper level of consciousness that has no dimensions, because any dimension in space-time contains qualia, and in itself, pure consciousness has no qualia. It is the source of qualia, just as quantum vacuum is the source of quanta. And even the experience of quanta is a qualia. Consciousness can be considered the field of all fields, since it is the field that makes possible the existence of all fields. You are the field and the knower of the field. Kshetragya is the field. Kshetragya is the knower of the field. And in knowing that, you are liberated. More soon.